Business Report is sponsored by Dynamic Funds.
Welcome back. It is that time. We say hello to Mike Eppel, who is always just staring at me through my peripherals right here. It's kind of creepy, Mike. Good morning. How are you?
Sorry. I apologize.
You're always on standby, and I can just see your eyes waiting, watching.
There you go. How are you?
I'm good. How was the weekend?
It was pretty good. Thank you. Tried to spend as much time outdoors as physically possible, for goodness sakes. It was gorgeous.
It was beautiful, and today's going to be
right?
even better if you like the heat.
Yep.
But Natasha's got all of that for you in just a bit. You've got a busy week.
And a busy morning. It is, not a great way to start the week when you come in and look at the initial charts and graphs, Melanie, and see the Dow Jones pointing to a drop of close to 600 points in the early trade. This has been something that's maybe been building here for the past little while, because this week we have the U.S. Central Bank potentially going to signal a pullback on some of the economic stimulus, which has really lifted the markets for the better part of the past year and a half. And then we have a developing situation in China, where the government has been cracking down on various sectors over the past couple of months, actually. So we've seen particular components of the Chinese economy see some pretty significant declines, specifically related to the stock market. But right now, what's happening is a Chinese property developer called Evergrande is looking at a debt default risk this week, and it could be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. So when you see a potential real estate company on the brink of collapse, and it could still be propped up by the government, investors don't like the sounds of that, because big banks globally have risk ties to this company. Some of the Wall Street firms, actually. And if you see a massive company going under, remember, Lehman Brothers?
Yes.
Let's face it, that was one of the world's biggest. It's not to that size or magnitude, but nevertheless, seeing some significant sell-offs in the early trade. Hong Kong was down 3.5%. All of the European benchmarks are down 2%. And again, right now, the outlook for the U.S. Benchmark Dow Jones down close to 6%, or 600 points, in the early trading.
Wow. Okay, Mike, watching that, but also we're going to keep tabs on what's going on Election Day. So many questions, majority, minority. Will we have the results, final results that we can call late tonight? A lot of questions.
That's the larger question, actually, for the market, Melanie, because it's like, okay, who's in charge, kind of thing, and how quickly will we know? And again, the makeup of the next parliament is going to be key, related to policy. So with that, we're looking at the Canadian dollar. That is your barometer, so to speak, for market assessment. And right now, the dollar is back below 78 cents U.S. for the first time in several weeks, down to a multi-week low. We have seen a little bit of spillover effect in the a couple of sectors on Bay Street, bank stocks in particular of late. But nevertheless, it's sort of the waiting game, I suppose. And right now, we don't need any more uncertainty than we already have to start the day. But that's what we're faced with. And it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out.
Okay. And the waiting game also for Canadians who are looking for non-essential travel at those land borders going to the U.S. Are you assuming this is going to get extended?
Well, we're expecting some sort of an announcement today, because tomorrow's the deadline. And then do they push it back another month to October 21st? To keep those land border crossings closed to Canadian travelers? Again, you can still fly. You just can't drive across to the U.S. And it sets the stage here, Melanie, related to, snowbirds. Yeah, people are planning their winter travel. Potentially, how do they get to the U.S. if they choose to go? Do they fly? Do they drive? If so, when? People are. I know we're still a few months away, but dare we say, people are actually planning, what are they going to do for their Christmas break? Travel plans, that all plays into it. And again, you've still got the economic implications from this. The border states on the U.S. side, they want the Biden administration to reopen. This has been going on for more than a year and a half now. And whether or not we see a decision to reopen those land border crossings, likely today, we have to have some sort of signal. That remains to be seen.
Okay. I think it's always around on our watch that we find out. I feel like it's in our national hour. Okay,
somewhere around 9
that's
o'clock.
it. So hopefully we'll find out in that 9 o'clock window,
That's
and then we'll potentially talk to you then. Thank you, Mike.
Yep. Thank you.
Talk to you tomorrow. Okay, today, if you didn't already know, it's Election Day. Millions of Canadians heading to the polls coming up in just a few hours. Our Faiza Amin is standing outside one polling station. She's going to break down everything you need to know before you go.